How's it going, everyone? Keith here from Cmon Hoops. So today I'm actually going to be doing a bit of throwback player profiles. So today I'm actually going to be talking about Neil Lennon as a player and a manager for Celtic. So I'm going to be doing 2 players a week. So this week I'm going to be doing Lenny, and then I'm also going to be doing Gary Hooper as well. So any suggestions you want me to do next week, comment below, and also don't forget to subscribe to my page. So I'm obviously going to start off with Neil Lennon signing for Celtic back in 2000. Martin O'Neill, he played under Martin O'Neill at Leicester. He had a successful time at Leicester, winning the League Cup, good run in the Premier League. So obviously when Martin came to the club, he wanted to get a good injection into the midfield. So he got Lennon on board. Lenny, Northern Ireland international at the time, blonde hair, went down well with the fans. But when Lenny signed, when we think of Neil Lennon, we always think of him as a player wearing long sleeves. That's all I think of as Lenny, with the pride and the play he was. But treble winner for Celtic, can't take that away from him. He had some great players in that side, with the likes of Stiddian, Tomo, Chris, John Hartson, Johan Miyabi, Bobby Pettit, Ralph Douglas, David Marshall, the King Henrik Larsson. Some great players he had in there, Sean Maloney. And so, but Lenny was a major figure for that side, especially with Paul Lambert and all. But going back to it, like he did get to the European final, but he played very well, especially in that final, considering we were down to 10 men. Good memories against Rangers as well. So passionate when he went to Ibrox. That time, obviously, when the scarf got thrown at him, and then he so-called spitted on the scarf. Good rivalry with Barry Ferguson as well. He had a good rivalry there with them too. It was good to see that went on for a couple of seasons as well in the midfield. Good for the Scottish game. When he did take over that captaincy, it was a massive push for the club, because obviously when Jackie left the club, Lenny was the next in line to take it. Because there were some big figures, like they had Lambert, and then it went to Jackie. And then Henrik had it sometimes, and then Lenny had it sometimes. Then Tomo had it as well sometimes, but Lenny was great for what he was. I just thought Neil Lennon as a midfielder was great. He was a great defensive midfielder. I understand he didn't score much goals. He only scored like 5 or 6 goals in his Celtic career, which is understandable. But the balls he gave into some of the players, he was great to have there. He was. Regards to, he was at the, as I said, European Cup final. Done well all the way up to Seville. Some great moments he had, especially a good game against Liverpool and Anfield. And then Liverpool at home, Blackburn, he had a good games against as well. So, regards to honours wise, like he's won 5 leagues with Celtic. 5 leagues as a player. 4 Scottish Cups as a player. 2 League Cups as a player. So it's not a bad honour list as a player for Celtic. Then obviously the last season, 2006-2007 season, was his last season. Funny enough, Neil Lennon was the first Celtic player I ever met when I went to Celtic Park. Absolute gent he was. Came over, was not a bother. It was the day of the AC Milan game, 2007. The last 16, Lenny came over. Picture with me and my uncle. Not a problem. But I remember his last game was against Dunfermline. Well, obviously we wore the new strip at that time, because we ended up getting the 40 years anniversary Lisbon Lions. He wore the new strip. I'll always remember the picture of him with the holding the cup, and he's just sitting there in the little celebration stand in the middle of the pitch, just soaking the back in. But it was a sad day when Lenny left. It was a sad day, but we've had some good midfielders since then. I think Scott Brown has replaced him in that role big time. Bruni's obviously had to score more goals and more appearances, but we'll talk about obviously when he took over. So he went to Nottingham Forest, and he went to Wycombe Wanderers in these clubs after he left Celtic. And then when Gordon Strachan decided, right, Tommy Burns, God bless his soul, wasn't up for it. He was very sick. Lenny came in, took over the reins as Tommy Burns' role as a coach. Like, I always remember the games against Rangers. He was with the dark green, buzzing around, having the passion, still like he was still on the pitch. Crazy I was. But it was just looking back at it now, like he came back into the club. Tony Mulberry didn't want nothing to do with him. Then he took over the younger sides, And then obviously Mowbray's was poor form as a Celtic manager, so Lenny took the interim job, done a fantastic job, got a win against Rangers as well. Remember that game, that midweek game. Later scored as well, unfortunately. I remember that quite well, but when he got the job full time, like, I remember he said, I want to bring the Thunder back to Parkhead, and he did. We look back now, like, Lenny won 3 titles. He was the one that started this 10 in a row campaign. He started it. He done well in Europe. Obviously, his first year in the job was against Cmon, which was absolutely terrible. Cmon, and then we didn't do quite well in the Europa League against Utrecht and stuff like that in the Champions League. But he done a good job. He got the team together. Obviously winning, getting the likes of Hooper, Ledley, Key, Mulgrew, giving Jamesy Forrest a proper chance. Stokesy in. There has been a couple of bad ones he did sign, like Miku, Lasahad, Daryl Murphy, Brochek. These are all bad ones. Like, people can argue and say F.A. Ambrose was bad, but F.A. Ambrose wasn't that bad. He wasn't that bad. Like, wasn't that bad of a player. Like, you obviously bring Fraser Foster in. That was a massive, like, we got Fraser on loan for 2 or 3 seasons. Then he signed him permanently. That was a massive stamping ground for them, for Celtic, getting a young goalkeeper that became a future England international. And he also made a lot of money for the club as well. When you think about it as well, like, he bought these players like the likes of Wanyama for little to nothing, and we generated 12 million for Wanyama. So Lenny has been good, and we look back at the likes of European campaign, the year that we played Barcelona, Shakhtar, not Shakhtar, Spartak, apologies. They were great moments. Malmo, Helsingborg, them European games. But the Barcelona one will always stick out. The reason why is not because of Tony Watt's goal and Wanyama. The passion Neil Lennon. He couldn't believe it. It was like he was winning the Euro Millions. He was just couldn't believe what was happening. The poor lad was nearly in tears. But you bring in a good backroom staff as well when you look back at it as well. Like, he had the likes of Alan Thompson there, Johan Mialbi. Good times under Neil Lennon. Gary Hooper was a phenomenal figure under Neil Lennon. The goals he scored, he got the golden boot a couple of times. Him and Stokesy clicked up well. They were the ones that bring us the league as well, on top of the likes of Charlie McGrew coming back and playing phenomenal football. That got Player of the Year. Izagirre was another great signing, which is still at the club now. I know he left and he came back, but Izzy was a great left back. Still is, still a good left back. Like, Tierney's obviously replaced the reins there. Players get older, you don't have the mentality and the pace that they used to have. But it was good to see what Lenny done for the club. Like, obviously there was bad points when he was at the club, when for example, that time in Tynecastle when the fan came on and tried to attack him. They nearly got him, but fair enough, Lenny held back and there was trouble there. But it's a disgrace to Scottish football. It's not the only time it's happened in Tynecastle. Even with Hibs this season, it happened with him as well. Then obviously he had a massive bust up when he was for his proper season with Ali McCoist, when we beat him in the cup replay in Parkhead. The words were exchanged as well. They had a lot of touchline bans as well, Neil Lennon did. But you can't take it away from him. Like, he had so much passion for the club. He grew up supporting Celtic in Logan. What do you expect? Like, he is a fan, heart and heart. Like, he has done well against Celtic as a manager for Hibs. Like, what was it, two wins, a couple of draws against us in Easter Road, and like even that time in Parkhead last season, the 2-2 game. So he knows the Celtic philosophy. There's a lot of talk saying that we should take him back as a coach if he gets a sack. It's a gamble. Personally, the reason why it's a gamble is because he's at the heights of Celtic, the last 16 Champions League. He's won 2 Scottish Cups. He's won the 3 leagues. He won the double the season when he left. The reason why he left is because he wasn't getting the money. Similarity to Hibs, where players went in Hibs. There was bust ups by the players and so, but we don't know what it's true until it's all officially comes out. personally, I think they're losing out on him because he's been a phenomenal manager. He's got them promoted. From the Championship. He's got some good wins, like against Celtic, Rangers, some teams like that, Aberdeen. So I think it's a bad I think he's getting a bad end of the stick, to be honest with you, on the hip side of it. But yeah, Lenny's brought back some great moments, and I always remember the passion, the song, Something Inside So Strong, and then Neil Lennon. There's only one Neil Lennon, so I'll always back Neil Lennon. And if it came to the case that Rodgers did leave, and I would probably take Lenny back, because I think he got a lot of. I think he got to the heights of Europe. I understand the Celtic squad at this moment are not good enough for the Champions League. They're not good enough for the Champions League because it proved in the campaign that we had a lot of games. We got the bad end of the stick. We had to play 8 games actually to get into the Champions League. We didn't get into the Champions League. We got knocked out by Athens, the Europa League. So the likes of the standard Scottish rating football in UEFA's terms it's not important, but even though it should be important because the likes of Sky Sports and stuff are still generating money into it, and there's a massive fan base between Celtic and Rangers out there for revenue, for jersey sales. Like, Celtic's a worldwide club, everybody knows who Celtic are. You go to America, people know who Celtic are. You go to Australia, people know who Celtic are. So it's crazy. Supporters everywhere. But back to the Neil Lennon situation. So that was my throwback about him. I know it's a lot to cram into one video, talking about obviously his rivals like Barry Ferguson taking the captaincy over in the last couple of seasons. He was at the club. Good old night days. Him and Roy Keane got on quite well as well. Roy Keane tried to sign him when he went to Sunderland. But Lenny, iconic figure. GBNL I could say. But don't forget to subscribe to the video. I'll be doing 2 of these a week of random players. So I said this week Neil Lennon's done. We'll do Gary Hooper. We'll be talking about Gary Hooper and his career at Celtic that term. And also, if you are on Instagram, we will be giving away one of these tops to a lucky team, thanks to 3 Retro clothing brand in the UK. They do all retro jerseys, so we'll be giving one of these away tomorrow night in the show. So all you got to do is tag 3 of your friends with 3 Retro and follow 3 Retro. Simple as that. And then I'll be picking a winner after the game tomorrow night, and then see who's lucky to get one of these 1988 Retros. Now, it's not the official one with the Umbro, but come on, it's close to it. It's comfy, feels good for a few drinks, can't go wrong. I just want to give a little shout out as well to Knowledge in Teamwear. They're a company in the UK. They're going to be doing a sponsorship with me to be making these scarves soon. Absolutely class scarves. Have a look at it. Stretchy as hell. And I want to give a shout out to Through the Turnstile. We've launched our clothing brand last week. A lot of people are starting to get them. Pink, green, white, grey. We do jumpers. We even do a mug. Little cheesy mug. Yeah, a mug, yeah. One of them bad boys. So, any feedback from you? Is any famous Lenny moments that you want to talk about or me bring up in the future? Let me know. Comment below. I just want to appreciate everyone supporting the page so far in all aspects of social media. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat. I appreciate the support. As I said, I wanted to keep continuing this stuff only for you. And have a good evening. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe to this video and to the page. Hell, up the Celts.